President Biden today facing the media and taking questions, an increasingly rare moment for the president. If you're curious why the White House coordinated this big performance today about inflation, why they were compelled to remind Americans that inflation was truly top of mind as far as domestic policy, well, it's because tomorrow at 8:30 in the morning, April's inflation numbers are going to be released, and it's likely to be another bloodbath for this administration. They're trying to get ahead of that story today. Today, we heard the same excuses as always. It's Republicans' fault, it's Putin's fault, it's COVID's fault. The reality is it's none of that. Hyperinflation is the direct result of bad domestic policy. Bad energy policy is why it costs a fortune to heat your house and fill up your car right now. And not COVID, but bad COVID policy, driven by manic liberal politicians who shut this country's biggest engines down for several months in 2020 and printed trillions of dollars to pay everybody's bills. Well, that's why inflation is so extreme. Today, the president was asked if he takes any of the blame.
Do you take any responsibility for your policies?
I think our policies help, not hurt. Think about what they say. The vast majority of the economists think that this is going to be a real tough problem to solve, but it's not because of spending. We brought down the deficit.
Yeah, it can't be because of spending. We brought down the deficit. We don't spend anything around here. It's so incredible to watch them continue with this hysterical lie. In 2021, just so you know again, and I know we show this a lot, but I've got to beat it into people or else he's going to get away with this. The IRS brought in $3.8 trillion last year under Biden, and then the government spent $6.8 trillion. Do you know how much $1 trillion is? It's a number so astronomical you can't even comprehend it. It's horrifying. Even though we came out of the pandemic in 2021, and we did, the vaccine came right off the bat. Trump was still in the White House when they were putting shots in arms. Even though we came out of the pandemic in 2021, Biden and Democrats managed to give away even more money than they did in 2020. But Biden is a deficit buster, and there's no way that it has anything to do with how much money we spent. That's not what inflation's about. It is beyond parity. Today, Senator Rick Scott tweeted this at the president: Joe Biden has zero ideas to fix the inflation crisis he's created. He just hides in the White House, blames others, and lies. If Biden has a real plan, he'll accept my invite to a debate in Florida if he can find it. Reminder that he called Rick Scott, the Wisconsin senator, today, by the way. Today, Biden claimed Republicans have no plan to bring down energy prices, and then he went after oil and gas companies for not drilling the absolute hell out of our federal lands, which, if you've listened to the rhetoric from that party, is just hypocrisy by the barrel from your president.
First of all, there are plans to give oil companies a free pass. For example, right now, oil companies are sitting on 9,000 unused leases, oil leases, which are the property of the federal government, on the property of the federal government.
Yeah, why aren't they drilling? I can't imagine why they wouldn't be drilling. I mean, they should be drill happy. Why wouldn't they be? Well, there's no question, and you can verify this by talking to anybody in that industry. The reason production is lagging, the reason it's not robust enough to keep up with the crazy demand post-COVID, the reason those leases are going unused, as he talks about, is left-wing anti-American energy rhetoric. Why invest in exploratory oil and gas with administration hell-bent on destroying your business, which is what they've always said they want to do? Watching Democrats verbally assail that industry for years and then beg for more of it when times get tough is reason number 10,000 why we need competent people in charge again and not reactionary, politically charged little left-wing crybabies that don't understand how the frickin' world works. The phrase ultra MAGA was a big hit today as well. You probably heard it a few times if you made it through that press conference. The White House projecting its own insecurities onto Republicans.
It's the ultra MAGA agenda. The other path is the ultra MAGA plan. The ultra MAGA Republicans who seem to control the Republican Party now. This is not your father's Republican Party.
It's not your father's Republican Party. It's the ultra MAGA party, which has somehow become more MAGA even without Trump, which is the funniest part of the whole thing. Yeah, these ultra MAGA guys, they want insane things like fiscal responsibility, borders, limited government, and sensible abortion policy that doesn't allow states to use taxpayer money to fund elective abortions a week before a child would be born. Yeah, those guys are real psychos out there. Biden, the Catholic, warning Americans about the Republican Party, while at the same time, today, refusing to say whether he supports any limits at all on abortion, which makes Joe Biden a very interesting brand of Catholic, I would say. Yes, Republicans are the extreme ones, though. This from a White House whose actual plan a few months ago was to fight this country's inflation by spending $5 trillion more on something that they actually called a human infrastructure bill. Just some of the stupid things we've had to listen to from this White House and these politicians. It's the same administration that sicked the DOJ on parents who were angry about woke indoctrination at school boards, but have had zero response to mobs threatening to kill pro-lifers and Supreme Court justices over Roe versus Wade. It's the same people who condoned rioting and looting as reparations and labeled cops as racists until our country fell apart, and then they had to switch back to supporting police out of political necessity. These are the people screaming about the dangers of radical Republican politics. It is one of the greatest projections imaginable and is just par for the course from Democrats today.